Salamun alaikum and welcome back to QGTV. We're still in Ramadan 2011 and today we are on day 14, um, which means that we've completed 2 weeks of Quran reading now. And today we'll try for, I think, the impossible. We're going for 4 chapters. Obviously I can't do a lengthy exposition on each chapter, but I think I need to I was actually initially going to do just 3 chapters, but when I read chapter 23, it occurs to me that there is a great deal of similarity with chapter 21. So I thought it's probably better for me to do it today, and so that you can see the similarities for yourself. Um, Unfortunately, as I said, the analysis is not going to be deep, but I do urge you to come back after Ramadan 2011 so that we can get into a textual analysis where we analyze passage by passage. So without further ado, let's begin. The first thing we need to notice about chapter Taha is that it has a very lengthy exposition of the story of Musa, uh, which is almost like 90 verses long. And this is a very comprehensive exposition and remains the main theme of the chapter. But the early part of the chapter is indeed very interesting because it talks about the Quran. So it starts with Taha, Man ma anzalna alayka al-Quran litashqa. We have not sent down the Quran on you for distress. Illa tadhkirata liman yakhsha, except as a reminder or a means of vivification for those who are focused. Tanzilan mimma khalaqa al-ard was sama al-ula. It is a descent from the one who evolved al-ard was sama. Now, interestingly enough, it starts with the earth, al-ard, and continues to was sama, the heavens. Usually, it's the heavens and the earth. Now, why is this the case? Because the earth represents the grassroots of human society. So, by starting with the grassroots, we bring the change upwards. Then it continues. Continues this up to verse 8, where it says, Allah, la ilaha illa huwa, lahu al-asma al-husna. Allah, there is no God but He, and to Him are the most beautiful names. So here the more beautiful names are brought close to the Quran, and then next door to it in verse 9 is the story of Musa. So why is this the case? That is exactly what Musa was bringing to his society. He was bringing God's attributes. So God is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Aziz, Al-Jabbar, etc., etc. Musa was bringing this to his society. So from verse 9 to verse 99 is the story of Musa. And there are elements of the story of Musa which has thus far in our reading not been mentioned. So in Baqarah we had a little bit of story of Musa, Ali Imran nothing at all, An-Nisa a little bit, Al-Ma'idah a little bit, etc., etc. And then in Al-Araf there was a lengthy one, but there are elements here which have not been mentioned thus far. For example, Musa seeing the fire, إِذْ رَأَى نَارٍ, verily he saw a fire, and that fire symbolized his first encounter with Allah, where Allah said to him, إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَعَبُدُونِي وَأَقِيمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِلذِّكْرِ. Verily, I am Allah. There is no God but me. So here, first person. So Allah is intimate with Musa at that point. So serve me, Allah says. وَأَقِيمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِلذِّكْرِ, and establish as-salat, the connection for my vivification. So here we can see that Musa has now the story of Musa has gone to uncharted territory, previously uncharted territory rather. Then there is the dua of Musa, where Musa says, Rabbi ashrah li sadri. Verily, that's in verse 25, by the way. My Lord, expand for me my projection. وَيَسِّرْ لِي amri, and make my task or my affairs easy. وَحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي, and remove the impediment from my language or speech. يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي, so they may understand what I say. This is what it means. The messengers come with the language of their people. وَأَجْعَلْ لِوَزِيرًا مِّنْ أَهْلِي, and appoint a minister from among my people. So here, as we go on, we see that Musa's encounter with Pharaoh is being fleshed out for us. The preparation of his encounter. There are also elements like the story of Musa's mother and his sister, both mentioned in verse 39 and 40 respectively. That's not been mentioned thus far. And then it continues all the way to verse 80, where there is a call to the children of Israel. Next we come to a call to Bani Israel, which we have not seen for quite a few chapters now. But now we're back to the call to Bani Israel, where it says, O children of Israel, we have delivered you from your enemy, and we have made a covenant with you on the right side of the mount, and we sent to you manna and salwa, which are gifts from Allah. So here, Bani Israel, they've been delivered from Fir'aun. What do they do when they've been delivered? Well, unfortunately, they did not follow through, and they ended up following someone called Samiri, which is a storyteller who promised them that they will be following the messenger. Unfortunately, Samiri lied, and when Musa returned, Musa corrected his falsehood. Next we come to verse 1112, which previously, the previous passage to this talks about Judgment Day, but I'd like to bring 1112 to your attention. It says, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِنَ الصَّالِحَاتِ, those who practice from the conciliatory acts, وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنُونَ, while they are believers, they will have no fear, no harm or curtailment. Then it goes back to the Quran. It says, وَكَذَلِكَ أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا وَصَرَّفْنَا فِيهِ مِنَ الْوَعِيدِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ أَوْ يُحْدِثُ لَهُمْ ذِكْرًا. And we have sent down to you a faultless Quran, and have rotated in it from our promises, so that you may take guard, or that it may renew to them remembrance or dhikra. Then it says, فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَالِكُ الْحَقِّ وَلَا تَجْعَلْ بِالْقُرْآنِ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يُقْضَى إِلَيْكَ وَحْيُهُ وَقُلْ رَبِّي زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. So high above all is Allah, the King, the truth. Be not in haste with the Quran before its revelation is completed to you, but say, my Lord, advance me in knowledge. So here, the Quran begins the chapter, and the Quran is almost at the end of the chapter. So this will show us our relationship with the Quran vis-a-vis the social movement. Next we move on to the story of Adam. Again, Adam is mentioned here, perhaps to show us the relationship between the movement on the ground and the theoretical Jannah fil ard, or the garden on the earth. That's from verses 115 to 123. And then it ends with some practical precepts from verse 124 to 135, including, again, as-salat, the establishment of God's connectivity in order for us to start and continue this movement. So that's all we have for Taha. Let's move on to Al-Anbiya.